Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Gypsy Moto Show. I'm Brett Winsel.
I'm Aaron Lally.
And I'm Chip Brock.
We're glad you're here. We got a good show for you tonight. We're going to start off with some announcements. First off, we want to make sure that everybody knows about our banquet. January 31st, we're going to have the awards banquet at the Lodge in Deadwood. It's always a great time. Happy hour will be at 6 o'clock. Dinner will be at 7 o'clock, and then presentations at 8 o'clock. So if you're going to be coming to that and you haven't made your reservations yet, make sure that you do. Next, I'd like to kind of go ahead and make sure that everybody knows about the races we have coming up this year. So far, we have our District 30 race, our AMA District 30 race, April 18th and 19th. And then May 16th and 17th, we'll have our Loretta Lynn's qualifier. Then on August 1st and 2nd, we'll have the South Dakota State AMA Motocross Championship. So those three for sure. The last one will be one long race. That one will be the GP format. The first two will be a regular two race moto.
I have a question. So are we running on the first two races with the two-race format? Are we running the Loretta Lynn's classes at both of those?
We are going to, yes.
Okay. Will we carry that over to the third race, or will we use different classes for the third race?
We're going to keep those classes just so that we can, kind of like we did this year, so that we can actually run a series. So that's kind of how we did it this year. And then it kind of worked out good because, it showed who really is the best. It shows, can you run you might be able to run some short races, some 10-minute motos, but can you run a 25-minute moto? So, it was kind of one of those things that showed conditioning as well. So that's kind of what we decided to do this year.
So, are we going to run the tech inspections the same way we did last year, where we do kind of a practice run through on the first race, and then we'll do the actual inspections on the second race?
I thought you had some other ideas too.
So I like the idea of running the practice one, because definitely, people took that real positively. That on the first one, that was a good way for them to kind of learn the rules. If they didn't understand them or they hadn't spent the time, without any risk of changing their race day.
Right.
But the one thing, we talked about is have two staging lanes. So then we'll have like right now, the only time we break them into a class is when they come to the gate. Whereas if we could have the class line up and sort of pick their starting gate behind the gate, then I could inspect them there as a class. Because I was inspecting people, how we get that big group, there's several classes sitting there, and I was trying to pick them out before they come to the gate. So I think with our new starting gate, we'll have a lot of room, and I think we can do that. And then also maybe, I think that last year we did the primary inspections on the first set of races or whatever, and I think we can do kind of flip that to where we look at the second motos, because then we can hit the bikes that did well in the first race. By then we'll know who the top 5 are, which that's kind of where you start, and hit those guys first and then work away from there, so we can spend a little more time. Because honestly, if somebody's going to get protested or whatever, it's probably going to be one or two, right?
Right. Unless you have the case that we had this year, where we had the kid that got last place get protested.
Yeah.
It was just come on, dude. It was yeah.
I want to claim his bike.
No, it's I think maybe the guy's intentions were good, but it's you're not doing any good to anybody here. All you're doing is hurting everything. So, but who knows?
Yeah, and all we can do is better educate. For me specifically, better educate myself, so that if whatever happens is less, it gets shut down quicker.
Sure.
Because it wasn't terrible, but it kind of went on longer than it should have.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Do you think before our first race we could do a dry run on stuff, get a lot of our stuff set up and just kind of do a dry run so we're not starting off with from scratch on race day.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, the more organized we can get ahead of time, we definitely want to do that for sure. I mean, I think this year, it may not look like it sometimes, but I think we did spend a lot of time trying to get all that lined up because we'd started about this time last year trying to organize all those details. Just there's so many moving pieces.
Right.
And we did it at a bunch of those meetings, and then we did have the Zoom meetings, where if you couldn't make it, we tried to assign jobs and make sure everybody understood all their everything they needed to know and research and all that. But yeah, I mean,
sure.
That wouldn't be. We definitely could try to do that a weekend ahead of time.
But in general, I like your idea, Chip, and one of the things I guess that's been maybe part of the reason I kind of have grafted to the Gypsies so well is Gypsies kind of handle everything like a engineering project, and we're always improving. And as you were saying that, I'm just thinking even if we have a big practice day, we could almost let's try staging ahead of our gate with a practice group and just see how that goes. To do some of I was happy with what we did last year, but we can always do better, for sure.
I like that idea because we're going to try to have some practices before the races come up. So that might be a great thing to try to do is just run a mock race and maybe throw in some hiccups that we know are going to happen and see how we handle them and how in each area have some emergency that might arise and how do we handle it kind of thing. So
right. So speaking of practice, what's going on with practice this riding season?
I will tell you about that. Got a couple more announcements here, and then it's all part of that.
I got you.
Let me say this real quick. So there's possibly at least one more race at the Gypsy, and possibly 4 more races with 3 other tracks that we're working with. One of those for sure is Gillette. There's 2 other tracks that have reached out to me, and we will have that all finalized this week. So that's kind of it for the motocross races. We're going to have all of our schools in June. There will be 2 of them. There will be Moto Academy, or possibly 3 of them. Moto Academy, and then 605 again. And then possibly one more. There's another group that's reached out to us, and I think we'll probably do that. Moving on to the practices. So as soon as we can start having practices, we're going to start having practices. But we're going to have at least 1 practice a week, and then have at least 1 weekend practice a month. If we can do that, we'll keep planning this, but we could go ahead and run a mock race at one of those practices, and anybody that wanted to come and to practice and kind of know that it's going to be run semi like a race, that's what we would do, maybe something like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What would be cool about that too is we have a new gate, and I'm sure people would love to be able to practice on the gate, and it's in our best interest to do some gate drops with it. So and just thinking about it, for me, let's if we do that during that mock race during practice, where we not only do the gate drop, we do the pre-staging before, and let people, so they kind of get the swing of that too, and it lets us test through that inspection process.
Right.
Good idea.
One last quick announcement: Hare scramble. So we're going to have a Hare scramble. It'll be the Red Bone Seeker Hare scramble, May 31st and June 1st. So what we're going to do there is we're going to break those classes up, the amateur classes and the pro classes, and try to make it more of an event so people can actually stay and make it more of a kind of a destination kind of event. So
yeah,
kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
And that was, so much positive feedback on that last year. I'm sure there's going to be more people. There was a lot of registrants last year, and I'm sure there'll be more this year.
I think so. But that's kind of all I had for announcements. Was there any questions on that from anybody, or?
with the gate, what's any final determination on, is it going to be concrete, dirt, grates?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so, after a lot of thought on this, we finally decided that we're going to just put it on wood to start out with. Because that way, if we don't like the angling of the gate for one reason or another with our new start, if we find that one, you know how it is, 5 feet one direction or the other on the end of that gate really changes the geometry and can make one gate way better than the other. It's kind of like anybody that raced our old gate, if you're really new, go clear to the outside on the left, and you're almost always going to get the whole shot. But if you do everything just as good as everybody else, you're going to be on the dirt that's a little bit drier. It hasn't been chewed up as much, and just the way that corner was set up, if you couldn't get around the outside, which you almost always could, and you were a gear higher than everybody else running down that straightaway, if you couldn't, it also sets you up to cut up under the inside where everybody had that tighter corner ran wide and you got underneath them. So a lot of and that was just one of those things that you couldn't change there. Where with this one, we'll be able to play with it a little bit. Once we know we have it completely dialed in, then yes, concrete, and then we'll go ahead and build the grates, and we'll have the grates too. So
that gives you the option to like. I like concrete starts because they're consistent, but honestly, like, they're terrible for little guys,
right?
Especially on 450s,
right?
And I think dirt or grates, either one of those are better, but by concreting it in, but then having dirt behind it, you can always add grates. Like, once you pour it full concrete, that's what you got.